We undercut one another's leadership because our style is different from theirs. It's black on black crime. When we downplay one another's contributions, it's black on black crime. When we make up lies and misrepresent one another's characters and ruin one another's reputations, it's black on black crime. Black on black crime is alive and it is well, and that's an in-house problem, right? An in-house problem that we as black men and women must address. It's the perpetuation of the Willie Lynch syndrome. If you don't know who he is, Googling when you get home. It's because in some instances we are still mental slaves. Black on black crime just ain't shooting and stabbing one another. It's tight, but it's right. Times like this, instead of foolishness, we need to stay focused on pursuing justice and liberty. No time to fight amongst ourselves. No time for any branch in this state to be inactive. Our branches need to function and function as they're called to function constitutionally because we need them in order to do this work. We must maximize our membership, grow our branches, build the troops, bring in people, especially young people. Anything that's living produces. If you're not producing more often than not, that means you're dead. So let's put down the foolishness and pick up faith. Stand for what's right. Stand for justice. Stand for love. And when you've done all else that you know how to do, just stand, right? In the words of the late rapper Biggie Smalls, if you don't know, now you know, family. We must continue to talk to each other, walk arm in arm with one another, pray for one another, let each other know that we got one another's back. It's funny, my brothers and sisters, we seem to love and like our leaders more when they're dead than when they're alive. Historically, we love Martin King, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, Marcus Garvey. We celebrate their birthdays or holiday. We'll wear a t-shirt with their picture on it or hang a photograph in our homes. But truth be told, when they were alive, some of our own folks called them troublemakers, rebel rousers, radicals. There were many pulpits where Dr. King couldn't go, and that's a fact, right? So we must do better by those who are on the front line sticking their necks out for us each and every day. So the only way that we can make it is to be sustained by the grace of God. Sustained by the grace of God. I'm a work in progress in regards to my walk with my Savior. I'm not what I used to be. I'm not what I want to be. My old nature every now and then will resurface. And if you catch me on the right day, and come at me in the wrong way, you just might catch it. But I'm just being transparent. I know none of y'all struggle with that old nature, but I'm just saying, every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. So the Lord has laid a word on my heart, and it may not be what you intended to hear today, but you asked me to come. And so I have a tendency, like they say, Forrest Gump talks about, I'm like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get until you take a bite. So I invite you to take a bite of this word that the Lord has laid on my heart today. And if you happen to have any complaints, see Bruce Morgan. James Weldon Johnson wrote the Negro National Anthem. You watched the video, right? The words are profound. Lift every voice, lift every voice. He said not one, not two. Songwriter said lift every voice. James Weldon Johnson knew the importance and the significance of lifting our voices and letting them be heard. So how is it now then, my brothers and sisters? We have become all too silent, 41 branches in 21 counties across the state, but not all of them active, vibrant, making a difference. Are we, as the songwriter said, drunk with the wine of the world? Have we forgotten? Have our feet strayed from the place, my God, where we met thee? We need to again lift every voice. Daily, my brothers and sisters, we are systematically losing the civil rights our forefathers, our heroes and sheroes fought, bled, and died for. We become complacent. We become real comfortable. We surely asleep at the wheel. Right-wing radicals, ultra-conservatives, racists, those who are homophobic, xenophobic, those who want their country back, and once they get it back, they claim that they are going to make it great again. They are doing and saying whatever it is that they want to, moving forward full force with their agenda. And our communities are in disarray. Homes broken, excessive use of force by the police, a failed war on drugs, a broken education system, and questions as to do black lives matter. And here we are, many of us, sitting idly by waiting for somebody else to say something or do something. Oh, I hear. Oh, yeah, I'm too busy. I got a lot of irons in the fire, Mr. President. Well, the time has come for us to reprioritize our values. We most definitely better check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Time has come for us to have some frank and honest and, yes, painful conversations about the state of not only America, but more specifically black America. race relations, safe streets, police and community relations, jobs, better neighborhoods, and public education. But too many of us are perpetuating the pattern of silence. We must reinstill the values and the morals and the sense of purpose that our elders always embraced. And the problem is, my brothers and sisters, is that we accept almost anything. Black America. Young black America is in a state of crisis, and we must collectively take our share of the blame for that crisis. Many of our young people don't respect us. Many of your own children don't respect you either. Let's be honest. And why is that, my brother and sisters? And I'm glad you asked. Because we must question ourselves as adults as to the example that we have set for our young people. Have they seen us being inconsistent, unreliable, unaccountable, unresponsible, sneaking and creeping, dibbling and dabbling? Somebody shared a story with me some years ago, the story about a preacher that was out of state who accepted a call to a church in Houston, Texas. Some weeks after he arrived, he had the occasion to ride on the bus from his home to the downtown area. When he sat down, he discovered that the driver had accidentally given him $1 too much change. So as the preacher considered what to do, he thought to himself, you better give that $1 back. It would be wrong to keep it. And then the preacher thought, oh, forget it, it's only $1. Who would worry about this little bit of money anyway? The bus company gets too much fare. They'll never miss it. Accept it as a gift from God and keep it moving. And when he came to his stop, he paused momentarily at the bus door, and then he turned and he handed the $1 to the driver. And he said, here, you gave me too much change. The driver of the bus, with a smile, replied, aren't you that preacher, that new preacher in town? The preacher said, yes, I am. He said, well, I've been thinking a lot lately about going somewhere to worship. And I just wanted to see what you would do if I gave you too much change. He said, I'll see you in church on Sunday. When the preacher stepped off the bus, he literally grabbed the nearest light pole, held on and said, oh, God, I almost sold your son for $1. Our lives, my brothers and sisters, our lives are the only Bible some people will ever read. This is a really scary example of how much, especially our young people, watch us as adults, leaders, and will put us to test. My brothers and sisters, we must always be on guard and remember that we carry a huge responsibility on our shoulders when we call ourselves leaders or Christians. You have to watch your thoughts because they become your words. Watch your words because they become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits, they become character. We got to watch our character because it becomes our destiny. Oh, I hear us in the community, 50% of black and Latino kids don't graduate from high school. My kids are failing in school. It's the teacher's fault. Yet we don't show up at parent-teacher conferences, school board meetings, or help our kids with their homework. Is the school system incompetent, or are we? We allow our children to stay up all hours of the night. We allow them to be exposed to all kinds of mess in regards to movies and music. We allow them to surf the internet and talk on the telephone for hours at a time and ruin your credit when you can't pay the phone bill. We allow them to lay up in the bed all hours of the day. We believe it's acceptable to wear rags on the head, hats turned to the side, pants hanging off the behind, and shoes untied, and we pass it off as being okay because it's the style. We allow our beautiful young daughters to dress like grown women. We teach them no self-respect. And when they turn up pregnant, we throw baby showers or parties as if it's something to be proud of. We need to teach them that they must respect themselves by the way they think, by the way they dress, by the way they talk, by the way they walk, and demand respect from our young brothers. We become immune to mediocrity, so we casually go around in our communities calling one another the N-word. Our music denigrates our women. Hip-hop gangster rap calling our women bees and hoes and skanks, skeezers and thoughts. Our women, our black sisters are queens. They're princesses, they're mothers, they're nurturers of creation. They are God's masterpiece. Y'all look quiet in here. I think you're going to get some complaints. Security? Brothers and sisters. My brothers, we need to stand up as men. Thank God for not giving up on us when we giving up on ourselves. We need black men who are humble enough to man up, fess up, stand up, and walk beside our sisters, for they truly need our help. Are we as our elders doing our part? Are we setting the proper example? How is it now that we expect more from others than we expect from ourselves? Amen. We must always strive to be better. There's a crisis, I tell you. Our people, our families, our communities demand our attention, and the price of our silence is staggering. Black America has truly been on a roller coaster ride for the last several years. President Obama sworn in after winning a second term. That was a high. Supreme Court eliminated Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act. That was a low. We celebrated the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington in 2013. That was a high. The 50th anniversary of the Salem to Montgomery voting march in 2015. A high. But then there was Trayvon Benjamin Martin, born February 5th, 1995, murdered. February 26, 2012, a low. Michael Brown, gunned down in Ferguson. A 12-year-old named Tamir Rice, gunned down with a toy gun in his hand. Christian Taylor, the football player, gunned down by Texas police, whose last words were, "I don't want to die too young." Sean Bell, 23 years old, at his bachelor party as he attempted to escape the onslaught of bullets police fired at him, told his friend Jose Guzman while he was dying, "I love you, man." Walter Scott, Laquan McDonald, Sandra Bland, and yes, Eric Gardner, 43 years old. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Freddie Gray in Baltimore. The list goes on and on. A low. The lowest of low. My brothers and sisters, we live in one nation under God, divided with liberty and justice for some, not all, for some. If our community ever needed another wake-up call, we got one loud and clear. And if by chance we were naive enough to think that since the election of Barack Obama, all of a sudden we were living in a post-racial society, they sure enough brought us back to reality with two words that seem to be used consistently: no indictment. Some of these grand jury decisions, these tragedies, confirm that we still have much work to do. If you don't know, now you know. We have to come together, my brothers and sisters, and save our own communities. We must stand together, fight this unjust justice system in this country. If I told you that 1 out of 3 African-American males is forbidden by law from voting, you might think I was talking about Jim Crow 50 years ago. Yet today, a third of African-American males are still prevented from voting because of the failed war on drugs. This failed war on drugs disproportionately affected young black males. They are 4 to 5 times more likely to be convicted for drug possession, although surveys indicate that blacks and whites use drugs at the same or similar rate. The majority of illegal drug use and drug dealers nationwide are white. But 3/4 of the people in prison for drug offenses are black. That's why the NAACP State Conference sits on a steering committee with the ACLU called New Jersey United for Marijuana Reform that is addressing and attempting to eradicate this unjust system that has devastated our community. We must continue to speak truth to power. We must come together and not only stop white police from killing our young black men and boys and girls, but stop our own from killing our own. Yes, killing our own. Tyshawn Lee, 9 years old, lured into an alley in Chicago, shot in a sick gang-related shooting. Sick gangbangers, abhorrent cowards that committed this unfathomable crime. Tyshawn was on his way home from school, targeted because of his family's relationship with a member of a gang. Where's the outrage for Tyshawn? Where's the march? Oh, that's right. We only are concerned when a white cop kills a black person. Forgive me, but my patience are running very thin. Go home and Google Tyshawn Lee's picture. Look at his picture. That's our stuff. It's time that we take responsibility for our stuff. Google little Gabby Hill Carter from Camden, New Jersey, 8 years old, caught in the crossfire. Then it takes folks that don't look like us to put up a financial reward to entice us to tell police what we know. We got to get paid to do what's morally correct. Over 3,000 shootings and over 500 dead in Chicago. That's our stuff. We must protect our children, for they are our most valuable asset. I love when National Board Member, North Carolina State Conference President, my dear friend Dr. William Barber, talks about our forefathers and our civil rights heroes and sheroes, how they did more with less. Yes, they did. And how right he is. With less, they beat slavery. With less, they beat Jim Crow. With less, they beat lynching. With less, They beat the KKK with Les Harriet Tubman, got 500 slaves out of slavery. Says she could have got more if they only knew they were slaves. She didn't have email, didn't have Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, cell phone, or texting. Didn't even know what Twitter was. She didn't have a car, but she had faith in God. A 38 pistol on her side, moss on the north side of a tree, North Star in the middle of a dark night. She did more. They did more with less. We need to do more, so much more with more. With more, we got to get gangs out of our neighborhoods. With more, we have to make sure that our children can walk to school safely. Get drug dealers off the corner. With more, we need to lose this sick, no-snitch mentality that's destroying our communities where we live. With more, we must demand that the police lose their sick, no-snitch mentality as well and stop defending their own when they know they have bad actors in their midst. There must be collective responsibility. We must work with the police and have them work with us and ensure that their slogan to protect and to serve is not merely a slogan but a reality. Dr. Martin Luther King said we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality tied in a single garment of destiny. He said what affects one of us directly affects all of us indirectly. A great football coach once said that fatigue makes cowards of us all. That's right. Fatigue, you know what it means when you're tired. It makes cowards of us all. And here we sit, some of us tired, wore out, seemingly having no fight left. That's the reality of it. When we're standing around with our hands on our knees, sucking wind, and across the field, our adversaries are standing strong. They got their second wind, just waiting to whoop our church. Y'all thought I was going to say it. Whoop our tails. Our fatigue has caused us to lose ground. We are losing ground each and every day. While we're fatigued, we elect politicians who don't have our best interests at heart. Some of them look like us.
Hello. Yes.
All right. Take a ride with me across the state. You'll know better. I'll give you a week. You'll agree. Unemployment is high for folks that look like us. Unions that employ African Americans and women are under attack and now legislating contracts instead of negotiating contracts, pitting the private sector against the public worker. We have to get back in shape, my brothers and sisters, because when we as a people are in good shape, we do great things. When we're in shape, we won Brown versus the Board of Education. Amen. When we were successful with the Montgomery bus boycott, we had a black seamstress named Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on the bus. Dr. King got Congress to pass the Voting Rights Act. When we are in shape, we aren't afraid to march across that bridge in Selma. In New Jersey, we passed historic bail bond reform. We passed the Opportunity to Compete Act, the Ban the Box bill. We passed the dash cam bill, body-worn cameras, new guidelines on police use of force, implicit bias and cultural sensitivity training, refunded EOF, fighting for a fair minimum wage, jobs, affordable housing, quality education, and an independent prosecutor. When we're in shape, we're going to do great things. We're going to be successful, and we can't wait for the challenges. So we got to get back in shape. So first, we must make education our number one priority. Malcolm X said, and education is the passport to the future. I like Martin, but I love Malcolm. And education is our passport to the future. He said, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. We cannot allow our children's minds, the most precious commodity we have, to suffer. Second, to get in shape, we must vote. Election day 2015, voter turnout in New Jersey was the lowest for a general election in state history, and that's a shame. My dear friend Al Sharpton talked about how our ancestors went to vote when people were threatening their lives. He said Medgar Evers shot and dead in his driveway while his children were inside, never knowing what it was like to have a father in their adult lives to give us the right to vote. Pregnant women marching through the streets of Birmingham. They had dogs sicked on them, fire hoses on them to give us the right to vote. 4 little girls bombed in a church in Birmingham, Alabama to give us the right to vote. And here we are, 50 years later in New Jersey, no dogs biting us, no bombs going off, no bullets, just too trifling and lazy and ungrateful, making a mockery of our ancestors' memory. We got to go out and beg people to vote. My God, nobody should have to beg us to stand up and protect the rights they fought and died for. Think about all they did. And we can't keep 41 branches alive, running and vibrant with 50 members in New Jersey. Our ancestors are rolling over in their graves. Sometimes you want to quit. Bruce was with me. Were we not, Bruce, together with John Lewis? And I looked at John Lewis and said, you know, Brother Lewis, sometimes I grow weary and well-doing, and I really don't want to do this. But when I think about you how can I quit? They beat him down, and he didn't quit. So we can't quit. The NAACP, we got to keep fighting. We got to encourage folks to vote and to vote their values and ensure that politicians we vote for value our votes. We need to hold all elected officials accountable, regardless who they are, white, black, Hispanic. How are we going to hold anybody accountable when we don't even vote? Accountability. I'm tired of the kitchen table tough guys. I'm not a kitchen table tough guy. Talk a whole lot of stuff behind somebody's back, or talk to the press who just wants to sell papers. I tell you to your face. True leadership requires that we get involved in messy situations. Leadership not afraid to push up its sleeves and get down and dirty. We need to shy away from leadership that are more concerned about keeping their friends and families employed while ransoming the masses. Less concerned about affecting positive change in the lives of those we claim to serve. True leaders are willing to risk their own reputation to help others. Anything less is negligent. I'm not walking around here with 1,000 jobs in my pocket for our folks, so I have to talk to those who have them and ensure we demand access to jobs, job training programs, and apprenticeships. But why are you talking to him? Why are you talking? You ain't got no jobs to give me to give to somebody else. They beat us up about the Uber jobs. Well, give me some. Legislator. Go down the tree and legislate some job. People need food on their table, and nothing stops a bullet better than a job. For you see, if we ever needed to vote, we sure do need to vote now. So let's try it again. Now until November, we must register. Well, matter of fact, next Tuesday, we must register, educate, motivate, energize, and mobilize our folks to take their souls to the polls. That's why I pulled organizational leaders together across the state, and we formed something that we call New Jersey Prepared to Vote. We hired some folks to work on this voting initiative full time. My brothers and sisters, at each and every election, we must email everybody, tell them to go out and vote. Tell them to show up, because if we ever needed to vote, we sure do need to vote. Now text everybody, tell them to show up. Take some of them friends you don't need that you have on Facebook, take them off, get yourself some real friends up there and tell them to show up. Call everybody you know, knock on everybody's door. I don't really know how to tweet, but my daughters can tweet, so I'm going to tell them to tweet everybody, because God is not going to do for us what we can do for ourselves. Lastly, we need to train our young brothers and sisters to become the new leaders of this age. We need to embrace Black Lives Matter. We need to embrace. Some of us ain't running for nothing. Running to the kitchen table, and some of us running to the bathroom. Outside of that, we ain't running nowhere. We need Black Lives Matter. We need their energy. We need their passion. We need their ideas. We need them to be the healing agents of our national and world transformation and future spiritual and economic salvation. Remind them that there are battles that are not worth fighting even if they win, and that there are others that are worth fighting even if they lose. We must keep our goals in mind. It may take sacrifice and struggle to bring our goals to fruition, but very few things that are worthwhile in life come easily. Remember that in fighting for what we believe in, we are fighting for a better world. We're using our limited time on this earth to make a difference. By taking some ordinary steps to get involved, we can accomplish extraordinary things and bring about extraordinary results. Each of us must use the unique talents we have been given by God to make a contribution, to make our communities, our state, our country, our world a better place in which to live. So while it is true that one person cannot do everything, there is something for each of us to do, to fight for, and to believe in. We've fallen, my brothers and sisters. The NAACP here in New Jersey has begun to get up again. There are those who want us to remain silent. That's not by coincidence or by happenstance. It's by design. If we're quiet, if we're complacent, if we're disengaged, disjointed, asleep, we are powerless, buried and laid to rest. And as I take my seat, I want to share with you the story about an old horse. This old horse lived on a farm. The old horse had been around for a long time, and he had worked real hard for the good of the farm. The farm owner's neighbors told the farmer that he needed to kill that old horse that was out there in the pasture. They said, that old horse has seen better days. And the farmer said, well, I can't kill that horse. He said, this horse been good to me. He worked and walked in the rain and in the sleet and in the snow, and he plowed my crops from sunrise to sunset. He pulled my wagons to the market and helped me take care of my family. He said, I can't kill that old horse. So one of his neighbors said, well, I'll tell you what, if you can't stand to look at him when you kill him, just dig a hole and put that old horse in it. And he told him, then you turn your back on him, and you take a shovel, and you take the dirt, and you just throw it over your shoulder and cover him up. Man, y'all a little slow. Y'all not getting this. You catch it on your way home. Y'all not hear what I'm saying. But every time, the old farmer would take that dirt on the shovel and throw it over his shoulder onto the horse. The old horse in the hole would... He would jump up. See, y'all not getting it. Every time the old farmer threw dirt on him, he would jump up. And when the horse owner, thought that the horse was dead and buried and covered up, when he turned around, the old horse was standing on level ground. My brothers and sisters, we are that old horse. The enemy is throwing dirt on us. Wall Street is throwing dirt on us. The justice system is throwing dirt on us. The racist right-wing extremists are throwing dirt on us. The NAACP, in some instances, against each other, are throwing dirt on each other. Politicians are throwing dirt on us. But all we got to do is just jump up, get up, stand up. God bless you.